Hi everyone, my name is Anshu Kumar and I'm one of the math experts from QMath. We are the #1 math experts community in India and we make learning mathematics fun. We at QMath enable our students to look for the why before the what of a concept, and all our students learn the concepts by themselves just by working on them. So I welcome you all to our channel, the NCERT Class 7 Math, where we will be posting videos on concepts and questions of different topics of this grade. So if you like this video, do share it with your friends, click on the like button, do subscribe to our channel and also click on the bell icon. Also, if you want a live one-on-one session with one of the QMath certified teachers, to check the link in the description to enroll with QMath. And if you register with that link, you're going to get one free live online demo session with us. So in today's video, let's learn about alternate angles, linear pair of angles, and vertically opposite angles. Now, before we proceed with this video, we've already made a video on basics of lines and angles. I want all of you to go and check that video first, and then you can come back to continue with this one. So let us see what are alternate angles. So angles who have a common arm, a common vertex, and the non-common arms are present on either side of the common arm are called alternate angles. Also remember that alternate angles do not have a common interior points or they do not overlap each other. Let's take a few examples and let us understand how can we identify alternate angles using this definition. So in this first diagram, we have been given two angles, angle 1 and angle 2, such that the common arm between the two angles is QS. The common vertex between the two angles is Q, and the non-common arms which are present on the opposite sides of the common arm are QP and QR. So by definition, we can say that angle 1 and angle 2, in this example, they are alternate angles. Let's now move on to the next example. Here again, we have been given two angles, angle 1 and angle 2. Now for angle 1, the arms are BA and BC, and the vertex is B. For angle 2, the arms are DC and DE, and the vertex is D. Now, if we see here, we don't have a common arm or a common vertex between the two angles. Hence, for this example, angle 1 and angle 2 are not adjacent angles. Let us now move on to the next example. Now, in this example, we have been given two angles and they are angle 1 and angle 2. Now for angle 2, the common, if you look at the arms of angle 2, they are BA and BC, and the vertex of angle 2 is point B. Similarly, for angle 1, the arms are BD and BC with the vertex B. Now for these two angles, we have a common arm that is BD, and we have a common vertex that is B. But if we look at the non-common arms, they are present on the same side of the common arm. So it means that angle 1 and angle 2 are not alternate angles in this case either, because the non-common arms of both the angles should be present on opposite sides or either sides of the common arm. So based on these three examples, we can easily identify the alternate angles or a pair of alternate angles using its definition. Now let us look at some real life examples of alternate angles. So basically, if you take an orange and if you cut it into half, and if you look at its cross section, you'll see a pattern. If you mark the pattern with straight lines as it is done in this diagram, so you see that both the patterns are present next to each other. And if you mark the angles in both, you will see that they are alternate angles with one common vertex and one common arm. In the second example, if you look at the steering wheel of a car, you already see that it is already divided into three blocks. So if you mark angles in those three blocks, you can say that any two angles are alternate angles to each other with a common vertex and a common arm. Now you all can look out for different real life examples on alternate angles and post them in the comment section below. Let's now look at what are linear pair of angles. So basically, linear pair of angles is nothing but an extension of alternate angles. So alternate angles whose non-common arms form a straight line such that the sum of the two angles adds up to 180 degrees are said to form a linear pair of angles. For example, if we consider this particular diagram where we see that B is the common vertex between the two angles 1 and 2, BD is the common arm, BA and BC are the non-common arms such that BA and BC form a straight line AC, and here the sum of angle 1 and angle 2 is equal to 180 degrees because they are the angles on a straight line. So we can say that angle 1 and angle 2 are a linear pair of angles. Let's look another example where we see that Q is the common vertex of angle 1 and 2. QP and QR are the non-common arms, and QS is the common arm between the two angles. But even if angle 1 and angle 2, they are alternate angles in this example, but we see that the non-common arms do not form a straight line. So it means that the sum of angle 1 and angle 2 will not be equal to 180 degrees. Hence, we can say that in this example, angle 1 and angle 2 will not be a linear pair of angles. So using the definition of linear pair of angles, we can easily identify them as well. Now, to understand a real life example, we can take the example of a pen stand where a pen is like vertically, put over a pen stand. So the angles formed on both sides of the pen with the pen stand, they add up to 180 degrees because the pen stand is nothing but a straight line. And yeah, so this is one of the examples of linear pair of angles. So again, you can look out for real life examples around you and let us know in the comment section below. So let's now see what are vertically opposite angles. So basically, when a pair of lines intersect at a point with each other, four angles are formed. Angles opposite to each other are called vertically opposite angles, and they are equal in value to each other. For example, if we consider this diagram where we see that lines AB and CD intersect at the point O, then we get four angles formed: angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, and angle 4, such that if we see the diagram, angle 1 is opposite to angle 2. So we can say that angle 1 and angle 2 are vertically opposite angles and they are equal to each other. So angle 1 is equal to angle 2. Similarly, angle 3 and 4 are vertically opposite angles to each other, and angle 3 is equal to angle 4. Let's look at some real life examples of vertically opposite angles. Now, if you take a pair of scissors and you open the scissor up, then we see that there are four angles formed and you will get a pair of vertically opposite angles along the scissor. If you also take the intersection of a road such that you, from a point, you see that four roads are going out. So yes, you again get angles between any two roads, any two adjacent roads, and these are vertically opposite angles and they are equal to each other. So based on the concepts of adjacent angles, linear pair of angles, and vertically opposite angles, let's now work on some questions and let's see how can we use the definition and the concept to solve these questions. So we have been given a question where we'll have to use the concepts we've just learned to find the value of the angles which are unknown to us, that is the values of the three variables x, y, and z. So let us see how can we use these concepts. So if we look at the arrangement of these two lines, let us mark these two lines as L1 and L2. And we see that lines L1 and L2 intersect at this point. Let me mark this as O. So we get two angles which are vertically opposite to each other. So they are this and this. So we can conclude from here that Z equals 40 degrees. And the reason is because they are vertically opposite angles. So as you just saw that how easily we can use this concept to find the value of the unknown variable. Now, since we know that Z is equal to 40 degrees and we take line L1, so we see that line L1 is a straight line and there are two angles below this line, which is Y and Z. So these are alternate angles next to each other on a straight line. So they will also sum up to 180 degrees because they are linear pair of angles. So Y plus Z equals 180 degrees. And Y plus, let's substitute the value of Z, which is 40. And this is equal to 180 degrees. Hence, the value of Y would be equal to 180 minus 40. Eventually, the value would be Y equals 140 degrees. And this equation we got because we know that Y and Z are linear pair of angles. So once we get the values of these two variables, we can easily find the value of the variable X. Now for that, we'll take the three angles on top of line L1, and we know that sum of all the angles on a straight line is 180 degrees. That is what we can conclude from the concept of linear pair of angles. So this means that the three angles, that is 40 plus X plus 25, it has to be equal to 180 degrees. Now once we solve the left hand side, we are going to get 65 plus X, and that is equal to 180 degrees. And then X is equal to 180 minus 65. Eventually to get the final answer, so X is equal to 115 degrees. So basically, whatever we have learned in this particular video, that is the alternate angles, the linear pair of angles, and the vertically opposite angles, we can use these concepts easily to solve questions based on this. And this is how we got to the three variables. That is, the value of X is 115, the value of Y is 140, and the value of Z is 40 degrees. Let's now work on the next question. So here we have been given a figure and we have been asked to find the value of A. Now, if I mark this line as L1, so I see that it's a straight line where if I consider this point to be O and this point to be P, so we can say for these two angles, OP is the common arm. We have the two non-common arms which form a straight line. So the sum of these two angles will have to be 180 degrees. Let's form an equation using this information. So 3A plus 25 plus 2A minus 25, the sum of the two angles will have to be equal to 180 degrees. Now let's simplify this equation to find the value of the variable A. On the left hand side, we have plus 25 and minus 25. We cross out these two and we are going to get 3A plus 2A, which is 5A. So 5A equals 180 degrees. In the next step, A equals 180 over 5, which we can cross out. So 5 3s are 15 and 5 6 are 30. So 36. So we can conclude from here that the value of A is 36. So you might, be given this question, a question like this, where we'll have to find the value of the unknown or the variable of the question. And, you will have to then use the properties, the definitions, the concepts which we have discussed now to answer a question like this. So you just saw how easy it is to understand what are alternate angles, linear pair of angles, and vertically opposite angles. You can revise these concepts from this video, work on the questions from your textbook. If you have any doubts, you can let us know in the comment section below. Also, do let us know the real life examples of these three angles. So I'm sure that you all understood the concept which we discussed in this video. So if you like this video, do share it with your friends. Click on the like button, do subscribe to our channel, and also click on the bell icon. Also remember that if you want a live one-on-one session with one of the QMath certified teachers, to check the link in the description and go and register with that link now to get a free live online demo session with us. So that's all for today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, so bye-bye, goodbye.